My channel and welcome back to another solo leveling arise video. So guys, what can I say? Amamiya Mirai, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right, is here. I was waiting for her for such a long time. I was actually saving up almost every ticket and essence stone I got just for her. She is currently state as of now ranking as #1 DPS character in the game. Like, she is right beside Chaein. She's right up there. Like, she is literally busted. Her gameplay is so fun. Like, it's crazy. She has this mechanic, yeah, where she transforms when she does her ultimate, and the more dupes you have of her, obviously, the more her basic attacks actually get enhanced. She's actually very, very crazy. So, very fresh character. I'm going to be talking you guys in this video through everything, how to build her, the best teams for her, and what dupes and everything, what to aim for. So let's get started. So let's get started with our artifacts. Now, the best set as of now, yeah, if you haven't unlocked any higher ratings yet, obviously, generally speaking, the best set will always be either Black Lion set or the Hard Leather set. Now, her kit actually scales of attack, right? So she is generally a damage dealer. She is a DPS purely. So any artifact essentially that improves her damage will actually fit her well, right? So speaking about that would be preferably the Black Lion set, right? And apart from that, you could also choose your Hard Leather set. As for stats, right? Main stats, you always want to be focusing attack, MP, right? So you get anything with MP. So the game will also tell it to you, right? So if you go to artifacts changing, and you will see on the top right, it says attack preferably, MP, and critical hit damage. Those are the stats you want to be looking for, and those are exactly the same stats you want to be looking for in the substats as well, right? So when looking for a Black Lion set optimized for her or the Hard Leather set, those are the stats you want to be going for. As for the jewelry set, right? Preferably, you want to go with the Behemoth set, right? So, which would be this one here. However, I would actually recommend the Viridescent set, right? The Viridescent set, for all those that don't know, let me quickly pull it up. So when we go to change artifacts, where is it? The Viridescent set. There it is. So for everyone that doesn't know, this set basically increases the user's skill MP consumption rate by 20%, but increases the user's damage rate by 5% and increases the user's basic cooldown by 5%. Now, the 4-piece effect increases the damage increase effect to 18% and the cooldown reduction effect of basic skills to 18%. Now, this is actually one of the choices you want to be actually looking for when you're trying to build her correctly. However, there is also the option of running the Executioner set, right? So the Executioner set, where is it? There it is, right? So the Executioner set actually gives you a 2-piece set when attacking enemies with 40% or less HP, increases the user's damage by 8%, and the 4-piece actually increases it by 20%, the damage increase, and the HP condition changes to 70%. So this is also a viable option. So generally, there is 3 jewelry set options you can go for her. Now, talking about her weapon, definitely her best weapon will be her Bunny Bun Bun, right? This weapon, the name is just awesome. Charges the user's power gauge by 40% when the user enters the stage, right? So up front, you have straight up 40% power gauge charged up, and it also increases the critical hit rate and critical hit damage of Koro's Sword Technique Type 3, Wings of Night, and Koro's Sword Technique Type 4, Raven's Cry, by 20%, right? Now, for everyone that doesn't know how her basic mechanics work, she basically has techniques which actually transform as well when she does her ultimate, right? So that is one thing. Her core attack is actually the Koro's Sword Technique Type 2, Dance of the Raven, and her basic skill 1 is actually her Koro's Sword Technique Type 3, Wings of Night, right? So essentially, when building her right, you want to be leveling up those to the most, right? So when looking at her skills, those are the two you want to be focusing on. The two basic skills, type 1 and the type 4 Raven's Cry. Those are the ones you want to be pushing as high as possible. Apart from that, obviously the support skill is always a good choice to go for. QTE and Ultimate also. Generally speaking, level up all of these just by a bit, but focus mainly on the two basic skills. Those will be your main damage source. Right, now for the question as of what dupes you want to be aiming for her, generally speaking, her A1 would be a good choice to aim for. However, A3 is actually the best thing you can get for her. Because A1 actually, while she's in a possessed state, while that state effect is active, basically it increases the user's critical hit rate and critical hit damage by 20%. So when the user uses Korra's sword technique type 3, the Wings of Night, while in the possessed state, it applies the deep darkness effect, right? So that is one of the effects that is being applied when she's in that skill. So this one would be the one we're talking about. As for the A3, basically when the user uses their basic attack or core attack, it charges their MP and power gauge by 1% each time and decreases the cooldown of Korra's sword technique lethal move Moonless Night Overture by 2 seconds. So it's basically continuously charging up her power gauge and her MP and reduces the cooldown of that skill. So that is essentially one of the things. Obviously, generally speaking, for whales and people that like to spend for her A5 is definitely the best. A4 is also good because if she's going to be in a pure wind team, it basically increases her wind damage by 10% for every team, right? So if there is 3 team members, including herself, it will be 30% increased wind damage. As for the A5, while in the possessed stage, she basically gets also some buffs on top of that, right? So those are, generally speaking, the dupes you want to be aiming for. Right, so as for teams, currently, Wu Qinchul actually stepped up to be the man of the hour. He's actually the best team member you can actually have for her. He is just he's just going to be the best breaker you're going to be having in a win team, especially with her combination. He's just going to be, now probably almost everyone has been slacking to build him, right? Even I have not built him at all, almost. So I'm going to be focusing somewhat on building him correctly now. However, he's going to be her best teammate as for a breaker. Then obviously she is going to be acting as the main DPS in the team. As for a support, right, we're still waiting on the on another wind character to appear. As for now, obviously, someone like Min Byung-gun wouldn't be a bad choice. You could also run, depending on what kind of content you're currently facing, Siu Jibu as an actual separate breaker on top. You could also opt in to run someone like Emma Laurent. As for now, again, there isn't really a perfect support for a pure DPS win team, right? So we're still waiting on that. However, again, you could also opt in to choose Hang Dong-so. However, he is kind of sluggish, right? He's going to be struggling in upper tier content, even if he is at A5. So yeah, I would generally recommend someone like Min Byung-gun or Siu Jibu at the forefront. Now, final thoughts, since she dropped, she definitely, again, as I mentioned, she is ranking at top 1, number 1 DPS in the game currently, up there with Cha Hae-in and other characters as well, depending obviously on dupes and stuff. However, generally speaking, she is broken, literally beyond broken. Everyone asking themselves, should I pull for her or not? Definitely yes. Because I'm going to tell you, you're going to be needing her, especially if you're wanting to farm in future for encore missions, since the new ones, which I haven't even started yet, are going to be having the one with the Lava Stone Guardian is going to be with wind damage. So any wind team member would be highly valuable for that type of content. Someone like Lee Bora would be very much shining in this content as well. So that's definitely one more reason to actually pull for her. Apart from that, her gameplay is insanely fun. I can definitely recommend everyone pulling for her. She's definitely one of those characters where, if you're asking me, is it worth investing for dupes? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yes, getting her to a higher dupe level would be insanely beneficial for any solo leveling Arise account. And with that, I'm going to depart now. Thanks as always for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.